On February 1st, Bellingham's KBAI AM 930 changed formats. It's no longer an oldie station, but a progressive talk station. Joining us today to discuss the switch is Rick Staeb, the general manager of KBAI AM 930. So why the switch?
Economics, Ty. We had listenership to an oldies format, but it wasn't significant enough that we could successfully continue to sell it to advertisers to get the response back from the listeners to buy their products and services. And we also knew that Bellingham had a certain amount of liberal population that would be very interested in a progressive talk format.
And it kind of surprises me, honestly, Rick, that we don't have, or before KBAI, there wasn't a liberal talk station, because Bellingham is notoriously known for being left of center.
Yes, it is. And we've tried different programs that have been more liberally oriented than some of our conservative talk programming on KGMI. And sometimes we didn't get necessarily the indication that the advertiser support was for that as well. So we were kind of cautious about it. But once we realized that there was a good stable of quality liberal programming out there, that's when we decided to make the switch.
The timing really couldn't be better for the switch, too, with what's going on the national level between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. So you've got to be excited about that.
Very much political buzz. It's the water cooler talk. Whether you're a conservative or a liberal, people are talking about whether their candidate is winning the primaries in the Democratic or the Republican parties.
Now tell us about some of the programs that will be featured on KBAI.
We've really put together a combination of a lot of networks. Air America, which is pretty well known as a liberally oriented talk show, is part of it. We also have programming from the Jones Network, a couple of programs like Randy Rhodes and also Stephanie Miller. Coming from the Jones Network, and also WNOR, which is a network of liberal programming from the East Coast.
How do you put all of that together?
It's a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
It's really a challenge. In fact, the technical challenges have been causing some of us to pull our hair out because it doesn't flow as easily, because as you might surmise, with being a West Coast property, a lot of these programs orient in the East, and therefore we are having to take them on a time delay basis.
You were talking about Air America. They've had financial difficulties over there to stay afloat. Are they more stable now?
I think that they are. They've pared down the lineup, and it seems to be a group of programs that they can continue to support.
What about local talent? Joe Tehan has been the liberal outpost on KGMI. He's going to make a switch over to KBAI, is that right?
Yes, for the time being, we're doing a simulcast, probably about 3 to 4 months, until we can get AM 930 up and running to the level that we feel comfortable with. Then it's very logical to move Joe over to that station, where he is a more liberal voice than any of our conservative programming on KGMI.
Now, here in Bellingham, like we talked about earlier, it has a leaning to the left. Are you looking for other local talent out there?
Well, we've already been approached. As soon as it hit the
right?
airwaves, there's people who have different ideas on other local programming besides Joe's show, and we'll take a look at that, because sometimes it's a huge commitment, as you might know, to commit to do a regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, somebody may say, hey, I want to do an hour nightly, and then they realize that
it's more than just an hour.
It's more than just an hour. There's preparation. Life kind of takes over.
Yep.
Do you see this as a great compliment to KGMI?
I think so, because it gives an alternative voice to people of Bellingham and Whatcom County that hasn't been there before. They will still get news and information, weather reports on KBI, and that's going to be provided by the KGMI news department, because that really is one of our main anchors for KGMI, is our news programming.
You know, have you had any resistance? I would think that, there's some parts of the county, obviously, that are very conservative. Have you had complaints about the switch?
Yes, well, 2 complaints as far as the variety. One, the people who enjoy the oldies format are upset because that's not available locally. And then the other part is that, unfortunately, as freedom of speech in America, sometimes people don't like the other opinion to be as heard. So there might be some conservatives, some conservatives that might think that it's so far out there that it's not really the type of programming that they would tune into.
This has kind of been in the works for some time now, hasn't it?
Yes, we've talked about if we could do it locally and support it with enough local talent, or if it was the right time to go with some of the network programming that we've been able to put together. So timing was right.
I was listening today, and the slogan was Radio Free Bellingham. Is that right? What's the story behind that?
Well, it's that's kind of a progressive thought, is that we are not controlled by big business or conservative approaches, and with the Radio Free Bellingham approach to it, it kind of lended itself to the liberal attitude that we sometimes see in Whatcom County and certainly in Bellingham.
Rick Staeb, General Manager of AM 930 here in Bellingham. Thanks for being a guest on Northwest Notebook.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back with Lonnie Rahm from Whatcom Bellingham Tourism. Stay with us.